Hey everyone, Tony here. Today we are busting the funk with Swing Away Sports Cards, who is having a little contest. It's a free agent and trade speculation contest. I wanted to get this off before some of these guys I talk about actually sign. So been a little hectic recently. I did move, as you might be able to tell. But anyway, let's get into it. So let me bring up, he asked a couple questions, so I just want to make sure that I hit every question. He is asking first, tell me your predictions or thoughts on Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto. Shohei and Juan Soto. Start with Ohtani, obviously the biggest free agent, the biggest prize. I think like a lot of what's been said about Ohtani, he wants to be on the West Coast. He doesn't want to play in New York, or I think like a lot of that stuff. It's just unproven speculation. So I just want to focus on what we really actually know about Ohtani pretty unequivocally, right? So, point number one, he wants to win. He has said that. He said it sucks to lose. He wants to play for a winner. Um, I know that the Mariners are officially out now, but when the Mariners kept coming up as a potential destination, I kind of just rolled my eyes. My own thought was that this is nothing but clickbait. It's a sort of perception-y things. Oh, they signed Japanese players and it's on the West Coast. And I was like, the guy said it sucks to lose. The Seattle Mariners have been to the postseason once in a couple decades. No big ticket free agent who desperately wants to win is going to the bleeping Seattle Mariners. So when the Mariners were out, imagine my shock. Anyway, kind of a digression there. Just sometimes I get irritated by news or news. Look, Ohtani to the Dodgers. Honestly, like, I feel like in my heart that Ohtani's gonna surprise us again, like he did when he went to the Angels, and he is not going to go to the Dodgers. The Dodgers, it just makes far too much sense logically. He wouldn't have to move very far from where his like current life has been set up. They've got the money. They win every year. I mean, sure, not World Series championships necessarily, but they make the playoffs every year. It just makes too much sense. Ohtani to the Dodgers. Not a hot take, but that's what it is. So then the other one was, I believe, Juan Soto. Thoughts on Juan Soto? So Juan Soto, I do think Juan Soto is going to eventually make his way to the Yankees. I don't think it's going to be in the off season. I think Juan Soto is going to stay put in San Diego at the end of the day. For now, the Padres, they might, I think it's a team where, last year it was so much like, why is this team so bad, or like why is it so mediocre? And it seemed kind of fluky. So if you're the Padres, I'm thinking you might just want to like, keep Soto around and kind of see what happens next year. Guess we'll see. But I think Juan Soto is going to stay put in San Diego for now. Um, so what goals do you have for your favorite team? Honestly, for the Brewers, so my favorite team's the Brewers. Just make the postseason. I mean, I guess that's everybody's goal, right? But for the Brewers, I think it is realistic. And even though it's like a little bit doom and gloom recently with the Brewers because Craig Counsell jumped ship and David Stearns jumped ship, and there's been rumblings of like trading Corbin Burns and stuff like that. The Brewers to me, they feel like they have one more shot in them. The current sort of iteration of the team, I think, and I would be really disappointed if the Brewers, for example, traded Corbin Burns. Please don't trade him in the offseason. Trade deadline, I get it, and yeah, you're not gonna get as much for him, but so my what was it? My goals, right? Uh, keep, or I guess my own wishes, keep Corbin Burns and make the postseason. How do you feel about what your team has done so far? I think they haven't really done much. It's just been speculation. Maybe Burns will be traded. There are rumblings now that the Brewers' top prospect and number two overall prospect, Jackson Chourio, will sign an extension. He will sign a deal, or they're trying to make that happen. So that seems like the biggest Brewers news. Chourio looks like a beast. He looks like the real deal, even though, of course, he's got no actual major league experience. But he's been tearing up Double A, which a lot of guys jump from Double A to the majors without doing much in Triple A. So yeah, I mean, if I think if Chourio signs an extension before he even plays a major league game, it will be a record for such a player. Honestly, I'm in on it. The Brewers don't very often have, these kind of uber prospects, so I'm into it. Let's see here. Free flow and talk about other players from the top 50 free agent or top 25 trade deadline uh, trade candidate list. Discuss some high risk or rebound players. So I guess I will just jump into that in the interest of keeping this video somewhat short. I'll jump into the high risk and rebound players. High risk, I would say Blake Snell. Maybe that's not like such a hot take either. Blake Snell, I mean, he's coming off a second Cy Young season, and Blake Snell is really, I would say, maybe the sort of most unconventional, or shall we say, least. I don't want to like throw shade at Blake Snell. I don't dislike him or anything. He's a good pitcher. But maybe the least impressive multi-Cy Young winner ever, like just in terms of his career. He's usually just merely a good pitcher, like a pretty good starting pitcher, but he's had like 2 years where he went off and won a Cy Young. Blake Snell, with the age and sort of the spotty track record, kind of up and down, I would say Blake Snell is probably fairly high risk, and he's a pitcher. Pitchers are always high risk, right? You never know what's going to happen with a pitcher. Rebound candidate. I mean, this is not a hot take or a very well thought out take either. Maybe Cody Bellinger. I think Cody Bellinger is back. I think he's not injured anymore, and he's finally figured it out and gotten back to where he was. So whoever signs Bellinger, I would say is that's going to be a good signing. He's still, what, 28? He's not even 30 yet. So I would say Cody Bellinger is the rebound player. And then let's see here. Oh yeah, so then we're just going to talk about some other guys. I guess I will keep this for now. I guess then I will just talk about some of the Japanese players coming over to the majors because I'm in Japan, and some of these guys I've seen certainly more than you play. So the biggest ticket, of course, is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Swing Away also said show some cards, so I hope this counts. I have this nice 2022 Topps Chrome refractor that I actually pulled myself the other day. Super stoked to get that. So Yamamoto, obviously at this point you've probably heard of him, and because he's a big ticket guy, that limits him to the usual suspects of big market teams. Uh, And I would say, you've got teams like the Red Sox. So, like the Red Sox, for example, seem like a good fit because big market team. They've got Masataka Yoshida, who is good friends and former teammates with Yamamoto. So that seems like a team that a lot of people are picking for Yamamoto to land on. In my opinion, I think at the end of the day, Steve Cohen is going to make it rain in Queensboro, and he is going to bring Yamamoto to the Mets. Basically, I think so. Otani is not going to the Mets, and I also think that Steve Cohen will not be denied a big signing. So I think Yamamoto is going to go to the Mets. He'll jump to the top of that rotation, and he will join, his fellow countryman Kodai Senga in that Mets rotation. I think the Mets are a pretty good fit for Yamamoto. So, and then probably the next guy after Yamamoto in terms of Japanese players would be Shota Imanaga of the Bay Stars. And so unlike Yamamoto, he's a little bit more typical for a Japanese player coming over. He is not in his mid 20s. He's 30, kind of like Senga was. And I think Imanaga will be the Japanese player that goes to the Red Sox. So Imanaga, the Red Sox will grab Imanaga, and he will join Masataka Yoshida on the Red Sox. And then I think there might be a couple more, but I know nobody really of note, nobody too exciting in terms of Japanese players. Another guy I'll bring up is Naoyuki Uwasawa, who is a starting pitcher for the Nippon Ham Fighters. Of course, Otani's team, Darvish's team. And this guy is not really an exciting, potentially big, name or anything. He's basically a nobody. This guy is basically the thing about him. He's got a lot of pitches, which is typical for a Japanese pitcher. But his biggest demerit is that his fastball is not that at all. I think this guy can, well, I've actually seen this guy pitch quite a bit. He can reach back for 90, which kind of, that definitely raises questions as to his major league readiness. On the other hand, he does not walk batters. His walk rate is very good, actually. And last year, his whip was comparable to like a Zach Gallen. So I would say Uwasawa, any team who signs him, if he can become a solid number 5 guy, he'll be worth the few mil you have to throw his way. So far from a sure bet, but I will say that Uwasawa goes to the Orioles. I think the Baltimore Orioles will grab Uwasawa. Little fanfare for that, but like I said, thematically we're doing Japanese players. So, okay, so those are the 3 that I can think of. Like I said, I think there might be a couple other Japanese players who might come over that I can't think of right now. But anyway, let's close this out it says, shout out at least one other under the radar channel or channel you think deserves more love. Okay, I am going to go with Fabian, undrafted player. Check out Fabian at undrafted player. He's French, which is pretty cool. Like, I think he's the only Frenchman in the YouTube card community, at least doing North American sports, baseball, football, and things like that. He does TTMs. He shows a lot of cool vintage stuff. So check out Fabian at undrafted player. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Peace.